Hi guys, Iron Cameraman here, but let me say it right away. The title of this video is not clickbait. Michael Bay really did post a SKIBIDI toilet movie teaser on his Instagram. But there's a catch. It's not an official teaser. It's a generated scene. And now you're probably wondering, if it's not a real teaser, then why post it at all? And is there at least a hint of what we might actually see in the movie? And on top of that, it just so happened that Mr. Boom responded to fan questions around the same time, shared new spoilers, and even more than that, we now know the approximate release date of Part 1 of Episode 79. But we'll come back to the movie in a bit, because right now, there's something just as important to talk about. Yesterday, when a lot of people saw the thumbnail with G-Man and the title saying he might show up at the Cameraman base, where according to the spoilers, the Duchess is also located, most assumed it was just made to grab attention. Like, come on, no way that's actually happening in Episode 79. But surprise, the chances of that actually happening are way higher than they seem. The reason is right in front of us, but not that easy to spot. To understand why that scene might be completely real, we need to look at all the recent news that dropped just in the last few days. So make sure you watch this video from start to finish, so you don't miss a single detail. And if you'd like to see me appear in the SKIBIDI toilet movie as a cameo, maybe as the Iron Cameraman, hit that like button. Even better, imagine if they added references to other YouTubers in the movie too, like Elite Cameraman. That would be epic. And if the movie turns out to be live action, I'd totally love to be an extra, even just for a second in the background. Of course, I get that one like, won't make my dream come true. But if a lot of you like this video, maybe someone on Michael Bay's team will notice the hype. And who knows, maybe they'll actually consider giving me and all of you this awesome surprise. Anyway, here we go. Let's start with the funniest spoiler. Even though it looks serious, it's most likely a troll spoiler, and you'll understand why in a second. The name of this character translates from Spanish as Bones. Seems innocent enough, right? But the thing is, they could have gone with something neutral, like skull or skeleton, but they specifically picked this word, and that's no coincidence. See, if you translate that same word from Russian, it turns into something really rude. I won't say it out loud, I'll just show you a picture, and you'll get it right away. And I probably don't need to explain what the canon is supposed to represent here either. If you know, you know. You might think it's just a coincidence, but don't forget, Mr. Boom is Russian and knows his native language very well. And he sent this spoiler to a Spanish-speaking YouTuber named Ebio. So yeah, it was most likely a little prank. And now I'm wondering if Ebio actually caught on to the double meaning, or if he still has no idea. But jokes aside, what do we see in this spoiler? It's clearly a daytime setting covered in grass, which doesn't match the battlefield of the Armada or the Cameraman's base. The last time we saw something like this was during G-Man's fight with Juggernaut. It'll probably be a standalone scene either at the beginning or end of the episode. As for the Astro figure we see, it looks like remains. While we've seen skeletons used on the SKIBIDI side before, it's not typical for Astro. The structure he's in kind of looks like a cruise missile, but it's just lying on the ground right now. Maybe Astro was trying to build a kamikaze unit based on the SKIBIDI's idea. In the second spoiler, it's likely that Kleiner is fighting in the scientist's mech at the Cameraman's base. The gray sky, terrain without buildings or trees, and a recognizable Cameraman base structure, which becomes clearer when brightened, all point to this. He's either fighting Astro or the Duchess herself. As I suggested in a previous breakdown, SKIBIDI might show up to support the Cameramen, and here they are. That huge mech would have been spotted earlier, so it probably shows up in Episode 79. Still, since we already saw Kleiner in Episode 78, his mech might be stored in the same hangar where the Titan Cameraman used to be. Alternatively, the mech might have a built-in TV man teleport, which would make it easier to appear suddenly. That also means a group of SKIBIDI toilets could teleport in with him, including their commander, G-Man. If G-Toilet doesn't show up with Kleiner, we should expect him either at the end of Part 1 or in Part 2. That delay could be due to another upgrade, like getting his legs, or due to finalizing new gear, maybe even his secret weapon, the nuclear bomb shown in earlier spoilers. Some might think we already saw that explosion in the Abyss scene where the polycephaly TV man was talking about the future. But no, that was clearly a city, not the Cameraman's base. Mr. Boom also answered a bunch of questions recently, so let's go over the most important ones. Episode 79 will be split into 2 parts. That actually makes sense, since Boom originally planned to release it as a single full episode. It's going to be over 5 minutes long and is currently 85% done. It should be out by the end of the month. Realistically, it probably won't be finished by the 23rd to 25th, so we're most likely looking at a release around the 30th or 31st. Both parts will be epic. That means we'll actually get to see the invasion and the battle at the Cameraman base fully play out, not just as a cliffhanger for the second part. Boom didn't give a direct answer about whether episode 79 will continue right after 78, but based on the spoilers, it seems like the Armada battle either won't be shown at all or will only appear briefly at the beginning. A major character will die in this episode. My guess? Either Kleiner in the scientist's mech or Camera Woman. She already charged headfirst at Astro in a fight she clearly couldn't win, and she might try something similar again at the base. There's also a chance someone else sacrifices themselves trying to save her. Maybe Berserker. We've already seen Hugo risk his life to save Larry and others before. The Semi-Titan squad will be getting a new member soon, the Mafioso. Honestly, it's not surprising he survived. He already tanked a hit from the Titan Speakerman once and made it out, and apparently survived a second time too. Also, I want to clear up a popular misunderstanding. People keep saying the new Mafioso and the old one are the same character. Sure, both are called Mafia and both use acid, but people seem to ignore the obvious. There's a huge size difference between the SKIBIDI version and the mutant one. The final nail in the coffin was Boom's own answer. Even if you somehow believe the original Mafioso magically shrunk off screen and turned into a mutant, how would he now become a massive semi-titan? What magically grow back 10 times his size again? Just compare Executor to Hunter. That's about the same scale as this new Mafioso. And really, why can't there be more than one? Even among the Skibidis, there were several scientists at once. Let's also not forget Boom's older answers. When asked about the UFO's conversation with G-Man, he said we'll find out more in episode 79. That means G-Man is guaranteed to appear. There's even a chance he'll talk to the Duchess, and through that, we might finally learn why he betrayed the Astro, or hear about his suffering child he couldn't save. That would explain why the Duchess and Astro are calmly positioned at the Cameraman base, almost like they're waiting for something before making a move. What if the Duchess isn't planning to attack at all, but instead is offering the Alliance and Skibidis a deal? Give up G-Toilet in exchange for sparing their lives. Earth means nothing to the Astro. To them, it's just an anthill. They came here to eliminate traitors like the Scientist and G-Man. If they flatten every city and kill everyone, what's left to control? A burned-out wasteland? That same idea lines up with the UFO's reaction and what it said to Juggernaut about how he let their commander, G-Man, escape. It's clear they're looking for him. Not Titans, not Skibidi toilets, G-Man. The Alliance is just in the way of that mission. Let's start with the second answer Mr. Boom gave. There's going to be a new ability shown in the episode. What's interesting is that even some of the older powers could be super useful. For example, G-Man could potentially try to take over the Duchess using either the purple or green energy sphere. It's not confirmed that the new ability will be his, though. The Duchess, being a pure-blood Astro, clearly has some tricks up her sleeve. Her energy is that pure bright red, she can fire lasers from her mouth, and she has a special status. She's not even officially part of the Astro army. You can tell because she doesn't wear a helmet with ranks, and the commander, the UFO, speaks to her with respect, but she still came to fight. So yeah, hard to believe we've already seen everything she's capable of. And now, let's finally talk about the movie teaser. To be honest, it was not what I expected. What we got was a single camera flyover of some destroyed post-Soviet-looking city, completely generated by AI. The only notable detail? The agent. It's hard to even tell whether the AI meant to show a cameraman or a TV man. And it's even harder to understand why, out of all possible teaser ideas, this is what they chose to share. A video that looks like it took 5 minutes to make and wasn't even made by a person. By the way, Michael Bay himself confirmed that these aren't actual scenes from the movie. In the caption of his post, he clearly wrote that he doesn't plan to use AI in his films, but there's a clue in this teaser. Honestly, aside from the agent in the building and the random toilet on the floor, I couldn't really spot anything that looked like a hint. The only thing that comes to mind is that maybe this was all part of Bay's plan to release something fake, basic, and rough-looking, just so he can later drop the real teaser that'll completely blow our minds. And while we're on the topic, I couldn't resist. I made my own teaser-style scene using AI, and honestly, I think it turned out pretty awesome. I'd actually be hyped if something similar showed up in the final film. But even without this teaser, we can already start to guess what the movie might be about. Let's be honest, the weakest part of Skibidi Toilet is the beginning, the origin story. The series started out as a meme project, so it's no surprise that the early episodes weren't exactly polished, either in story or visuals. There are still a ton of unresolved plot lines and characters. Yeah, we've seen some flashbacks, but it's pretty clear that we'll never fully get to know characters like Kathy, Dave, Takuma, G-Toilet, his squad, the secret agent, and so on. So my guess? The movie will be a proper prequel to the series. It'll show us familiar characters in a new light and finally give us a more epic and well-developed version of the early events, but with the kind of scale and quality we've come to expect from the later episodes. Like, remember how the humans versus Skibidis battle was shown in just one short? We all want to know how the humans actually lost to toilets, where the agents came from, and so much more. But the most exciting part is this. It seems like Michael Bay's project might not be the only one. There's no official confirmation yet, but there are some subtle clues, and I'll definitely be breaking those down in the next video. And hey, if you notice something in the teaser that I missed, make sure to leave it in the comments. I'll feature the best theories in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. See you next time.